Hi everyone. Here's another example of a truth table from the homework for 7.3a. This is problem number 3, and the argument we're looking at has truth values for a and b. That's over on the left, and to the right it says not a or not b. That's the first premise. Not b is the second premise. Therefore, not a. Now, when you're solving this and trying to find out what truth values to put in, you need to have a truth value for every logical operator and also every standalone statement variable. In this argument, there are no standalone statement variables, so you need a truth value for every logical operator to go under it. Now, in this case, it can be easy to overlook one of the logical operators. Let me show you something. See, you've got not in front of the a right there. You've got or in between not a and not b. You've got not in front of the b, a not in front of the other b, that's right there, a not in front of not a, and then another not there in front of a. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 truth values that you are going to need going across. It's not 5, this double negation here. Each one counts as a truth value, and they both have to be used. So we're going to have 6 truth values going across here, and of course 4 rows going down. It is useful to solve these problems going vertically. Now we'd like to know what truth value do we put in for not A or not B. But you can't really answer that quite yet. We can't answer what truth value to put under the or until you know the truth values under not A or not B. That's because the truth value of a disjunction depends on what the truth values of the disjuncts are, whether not A and not B are themselves either true or false. A disjunction is true whenever whenever at least one of the disjuncts, one of the things on one side or the other of the disjunction sign, is true. So we need to start with something like the not A, and we need to figure out whether that's true or false, and we'll go down vertically from there. Since we've got a value for A over here, we know that A goes vertically, true, true, false, false. We know that what we need here is false, false, true, true. And what about for not B? Let's go over here to not B, and I'm going to do this because this will make things a little bit easier. I'm just putting in blank spaces there so that I can go straight down under the not B. Now, B goes vertically, true, false, and not B is going to reverse the truth value, so it'll go false, true, false, true. Now, as we said, a disjunction is going to be true whenever whenever at least one is true. And if you take a quick look at these two, you'll see that at least one is true on the bottom 3 rows and not on the top one. On the top row, on the first row, one's false, but all the others are true. Okay. What about on this second premise, the not B? I'm adding in the blank spaces to keep it all lined up. Now, not B, we just did that. Not B is going to be false, true, false, true. Ooh, I think we put in a true in there when we should have had a false. That should have been false. Okay. But over here, we want false, true, false, true, false, true. And now we want to go over to this one, to the not A. Now, we know that A is true, true, false, false. So we know that under the first not, the not A, that's going to reverse it. That'll make it, let's see, let's go to here. And we'll say that A or not A is going to be false, false, true, true. And right in front of that, we're going to reverse it again. And so that's going to make it true, true, false, false. And those are all the truth values that you need for this truth table. We click the button to check it, and we get that we've got the truth table correct. And is it valid or invalid? How do you tell? Well, the answer is you tell by looking for a line on which all the premises are true, but the conclusion is false. If all the premises are true, but the conclusion is false, if there's any way to do that, then you have an invalid argument. If there's no way to do that, then you have a valid argument. Now, one subtle thing here, for example, where you have a double negation, you need to go for this one, the truth value for this one. The basic reason is an idea that you'll find very useful, which is the idea of the main operator. The main operator is the one that controls all the other truth values, or affects all the other truth values in a well-formed formula. So when A is true, when A is true, well, A is true. Then if A is true, then not A is false. And what about not A? Well, that's true again. That's saying it's not true that not A. So it's true again. The main operator in an expression like not A is always the one that applies to everything else in the expression. The main operator here, when there's only one operator and one variable, is the not. Over here in the not A or not B, the main operator is the or sign, because it's the one that applies to or connects everything else in this well-formed formula, not A or not B. So, what we're going to look for is we're going to look for a case where the main operator of the conclusion is false, and see if there are any premise or any rows on which the premises are all true. Now, let's go there. We have false there, false, true, false, true. Those are the two rows where it's false. Now, you don't even need to look at the other two rows, because since they're true, they can't show that it's invalid. The only way to show that an argument is invalid is to have a case where all the premises are true, but the conclusion is false. And so we look over here and we see, have we got any case where both the premises are true but the conclusion is false? And we know we only have to look at this one and this one. On the third row, we see that the first premise is true but the second premise is false. On the fourth row, we've got the first premise being true, that's the main operator, and the second premise is true also, but the conclusion is false. And because of that, we can see it has to be invalid. Oops, we didn't check. We're supposed to, in order to do this, we're supposed to check the one to show that it's invalid. Check a box to show that it's invalid and try again. And there we are. We are correct. We have got it. That's the basic procedure. I will see you again soon.